Oh, you have to fix this camera too. Go
What's
ahead.
going on, everybody? My name is Roy Goldstein. I'm here with Sina Sahami. Sina is the COO of Lines Digital Solution, which is a leading digital advertising company that helps entrepreneurs reach their goals and transition from self-promotion to a business. Since 2018, his position as COO has been an unstoppable search for the company, getting to grow its revenue from $1 million to over $25 million a year, and transforming what was previously a small company into a team of over 50 people, well formed in the digital era. He finished his engineering studies with a minor in commerce at the UBC Engineering in 2011, and his name is on the Dean's list, the Dean's Honor List, which was just his first achievement of many. And Sina has also been developing a path focused on success over the last 9 years. He founded 2 high-tech startups early in his career, and his skills led him to serve as the lead advisor for many others. In addition to having worked as an engineering lead for SaaS solutions in the B2B market, his work as a consultant at one of the world's largest consulting firms catapulted him into the arms of several Fortune 500, with whom he has worked closely with on projects. Sina, how you doing? Happy New Year's. Welcome back to episode 7.
Happy New Year.
So,
Uh,
what have you been working on this week before we get into it? It's the first
we are
quarter of the
trying
year.
to do a merger
Okay.
and restructure the whole thing. That's basically I was on the phone with lawyers the whole week.
Merger for what?
Like we have a bunch of different companies. We want to bring everything under one umbrella.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like some stuff you do on the high level.
It's well, that's the thing is like because it's not obviously something. I'm not an M&A lawyer,
Yeah.
but so it is something that we are thinking of doing, and at some point somebody has to do it. And
Is
usually
that
I'm the one who starts doing shit like this.
is that like where you will have a bunch of like LLCs under an S corp, or like there's like a parent company and then all those are the subsidiaries?
Yeah, you sound like somebody who had a bunch of terms.
Well,
Like,
I I
you know, in
don't.
the exam when you like you have
Yeah.
like a exam and you don't know the answer, so you just spewing
Yeah.
that you kind of heard.
Yeah, if someone was like, "Oh, explain to me what a subsidiary is," I'd be like,
Like
"It's
LLC, C Corp, whatever.
D corp, F corp. I don't even know." Yeah,
So yeah,
technical.
okay. So no, so C Corp is a company that is. So I'm obviously in Canada. So in Canada, we only have C Corp. Okay. So C Corp is in the US, is a US term, is a company that is taxed at the company level. LLC is a company, they call it a disregarded entity too, that from my understanding is that it is taxed at the, so it's just like a flow through. So think about it this way, there's liability and then there's money, right? They're two different things. So when you have a
Mhm.
company, you want the liability not to come through to you, you
Right.
know, but you want the cash to come through to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way you do this, so the C corp, so both of them stops the liability, you know, so the liability doesn't come through. The difference is when you do a C corp, also the cash comes in and stops at C corp, then it gets taxed, and then the C corp distributes it either through like dividend or like bonuses or like whatever it is. So it's taxed at the C corp once. Obviously, C corp can also decide, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna give the tax to anybody. Like for example, like what Apple does. If you heard like this, like, oh, they have like this much billions of dollars in cash sitting there, you
Mhm.
know. So the money comes in, stops, it gets taxed, and just you can decide to stop it there. That's what the C corp is. LLC, the cash kind of flows through to you, so it doesn't get taxed at the company level. It gets taxed at you. So The question is, why do you want to do a C Corp if you can do a LLC and just get the cash up front and pay yourself? When one thing is sometimes you just don't want to pay taxes. So you rather have it at the C level, at the company level, and just let it sit there. You know what I mean? If you have a company that makes $10 million a year, you don't spend $10 million a year. So you're like, hey, you know what? I just get 200,000. I pay my taxes on that. The rest of the money can stay in the C Corp and pay the corporate tax rate, which I think it used to be 0 actually, and like very close to it, but it's much lower than your personal tax level is what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do, we have a different companies, and then we try to bring everything under one company and then show earnings, and then you can either sell that company or you can raise money for it and that sort of things.
Someone said EBITDA, cash flow covers debt service.
EBITDA. Yeah, that's earning before interest and tax. I forgot the last one, but yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically EBITDA is the profit of the company, like just like the finance term for it. Where do you see these questions?
It is on
the Slack channel.
No. It's on the live chat for the YouTube stream.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So
yeah, so keep asking questions. I left a little pin to have people leave questions. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really understand that level quite yet. I myself am dealing with an LLC right now, not quite at the C Corp level. Here, I'll send you the link.
You're an LLC?
Yeah, I have an LLC.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, if you're small, you always. So that's the thing. If you're one person, you should just obviously have an LLC. But if you're more than one person, then it becomes. So if you have, for example, 2 people, then the company have to offer 2 tax documents, one for each person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're like a company, like, I don't know, like 50 people like us, then you have to issue 50 tax documents for how much each person is earning, which is still a lot. But then suddenly if you have an investor, and that investor is a fund, and they have 100 people, then you have to, at an LLC level, to issue a tax document for every single person in there. So it gets complicated. So what you do, you just pay the taxes at the corporate level, and then whatever money is left, you just distribute it to the shareholders, and then they deal with it themselves.
So there is a tax advantage.
There is a tax advantage both ways. It's just a matter of how complicated, or like how many people are involved. Are they real people, or are there companies involved? You know what I mean?
Just to boil it down, do you end up paying more in taxes through the C Corp or as an LLC? Or is it the same? It's just like for making
so to
life
answer
easier.
your question, it depends how much. So let me give you 2 scenarios so you kind of get it. You making $1 million a year, okay? You, like, with your business, okay? If you don't spend $1 million, okay? Let's say you spend 100,000, okay? So you have 2 options. Number 1, you have an LLC and all the money comes to you, Roy, and then you have to pay tax on $1 million earning, which is a lot of money, okay? So you pay a lot of taxes. Number 2, you have a C Corp. The money comes to your company. The company pays, in Canada, it's I think around 18% or 20%. 20%, let's just say 20% taxes on it, so 200K taxes. And then the rest of the money, so 800,000 is left. So now you have an option. Do you pay yourself a salary of $100,000? Or if you already have money and you don't need any money, you just keep the money inside of the company. So the money is not Roy's money, is Roy's company's money, but then Roy is the only director shareholder of Roy's company money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought that you could do that with an LLC as well, and it's called an owner's draw, where you can actually like pull money.
Could be. I don't know. I'm not
LLC.
a lawyer, but I'm not. I if you can do that with LLC, can you do that with LLC? I'm not a lawyer, and like I said, in Canada we don't have LLC, so it's like all new to me.
I
But
see.
from what I understand, keeping cash in LLC, I mean, I'm sure it is possible. I don't know how is that going to exactly work.
Yeah.
But the second example of it is that if you have, instead of $1 million, let's say you make $100,000 a year, right? Then you want to have an LLC, because if you have it at a corporate level, once you have to pay the corporate taxes, and then once you have to pay your own tax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you want to take all the money out, or if the money is small enough that you have to take it all out, then have an LLC.
Yeah.
If it's big enough that you're like, okay, I don't want all the money in, or I want the money to reinvest it into the company and stuff, then get a C Corp.
So I don't want to go off on a tax tangent here or anything, but let's say you have that 800,000 left over. Is, in your opinion, is it best to just leave it in the company, or is it better to put it in the market, buy real estate? Like, what would you do with an extra 800,000?
That's a great question, because we were just talking about this. I think if you want to, so that comes back to actually one of the things. What were the three things we want to talk about? So like, that comes back to, are you an entrepreneur or are you a lifestyle business person? You know?
Right.
Because look at it this way. If you are taking 800,000 out and you investing in stock market, you know, let's just say you buy Tesla shares, because I know Tesla is going haywire now.
Yeah.
So it's like, you are betting that Tesla is going to be a more successful company. I mean, with your dollar, you're betting that Tesla is going to be a more successful company than you yourself running your own business.
Like
It's
investing
kind of
in yourself.
stupid. You know what I mean? Exactly. Now, if you are already so big and you have so much money that you want to diversify some earnings and stuff, that's a different story. But if you're early stage, one person, two people, no, hire somebody, or like try to grow the business. So you should not keep the money. You should reinvest all the money back to your own business by doing different things, like hiring people, improving the quality of whatever you're doing or whatever you're making, that kind
I
of thing.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, good answer. Some dude said, if you're worried about taxes, you're not making enough money. I worry about taxes though. I think everyone's worried about taxes at any level.
Okay, so that's the thing. So you have to worry about taxes, and it doesn't mean that you're not making enough money. It's a matter of, hey, because the thing is, for taxes, it's not like you're trying to break any law, but like you follow this law and you structure this way, you pay $200,000 in taxes. You follow this law and structure it this way, you pay $50,000 in taxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're breaking the law or like you're worried about it, but at the same time, you just don't want to lose an extra $150,000 just because you're stupid.
Yeah.
Or just because you don't know better.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, can you play that game at any level if you make $1 million a year and 100,000?
What do you mean?
Like you said, instead of paying 150, you pay 50. So if you only made 100,000,
The more money you make, the less taxes you pay.
Right.
Because that's the thing. It's like there's like, what was it? Like this, like all these stocks, especially in USA, so like Boeing and all these other like big companies don't pay any taxes.
Or like, yeah, Amazon. Didn't Amazon pay
So
zero?
the reason they don't pay any taxes is because they can afford to buy and do things that cost a lot of money. Okay. So then you come back to the choice of like, hey, there is this, and they have names like these accounting tricks, have names like Irish sandwich and like something like Irish something. There's like Dutch clubhouse, whatever. It's like, it has like these international weird names. So the idea is if I want to pay 300,000, if I make like whatever, like $300 million, a big company like Apple, I can pay a bunch of lawyers and then they set up these super complicated structures. Legally, I will pay zero in taxes. But to set that thing up cost me $10 million. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like, okay, why do I pay the government $300 million when I can pay Deloitte
Lawyers.
or PwC or these like giant accounting firms that have all these sort of things $5 million in fees? $10 million in fees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, can I do this on a small level with just
No,
like
no. So that's the thing. No, because you actually have. So the fee is a $5 million fee. Yes, you can pay $5 million on $500,000 earning and don't pay any taxes. But then you have to. The fee is $5 million.
I
So
see.
the fee is fixed. Do you know what I mean?
Is that like a recurring fee every year?
Okay, I don't know. I'm not an accountant for giant companies,
Yeah.
but yes, obviously, like there's like some portion of it is account, right? And then there's other portion of it that's also recurring. Is that because you feel so the way you do this is that you set up tax entities and like you set up subsidiaries in different jurisdictions. By jurisdictions, I mean countries and stuff like that. But then those countries' laws also change. You know, so something you could do 3 years ago in Bermuda, you can't do it anymore. Something you could do 2 years ago in Dubai, you can't do it anymore. So then the lawyers have to go back to the drawing board and they're like, hey, you know what? British Virgin Island has this rule with the banking corporations in Hong Kong, and then there's a new treaty. You heard like these things they talk about in the news that, oh, there's a new treaty signed between like these block of countries, and it includes like US, Canada, Panama.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those treaties are just for this exactly.
I see.
So if you're a lawyer and then go through all those treaties and stuff like that, you come up, you're like, hey, you know what? It's we can do this for our clients and don't pay any tax, or like whatever, reduce our tax bill. Like instead of whatever 20%, we pay 5%.
Yeah. The
And guess
reason
what? If
why
you're a company, you're saving like if you're a giant, you have a client, or if you have a giant client that's supposed to pay $100 million in taxes, let's say you have to do 1 hour of work to save them $100 million. Okay. But you know something they don't know. Okay. How much are you going to charge to tell them that?
probably like 10 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big chunk. You're not going to charge them $100 an hour,
Yeah, it's
you know?
probably like a fixed fee.
Yeah. I mean, or yeah, exactly. Or you kind of make it some like bigger than it's supposed to be. But that, yeah. So that's what I mean. When you know you're providing that much value, you're not an idiot.
You're rich.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean. You're not an idiot. You're going to charge them a good price.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm interested in taxes is also because like I have to hire an accountant to like do all my taxes for the first year because I made my LLC last year, so I'm only like 12 months into it.
Uh, Look, we
That's
got
all.
somebody called index.html.
Oh yeah, they
I
said
like their last name.
they said take that 800,000 back to the bank and get an $8 million loan and roll up some income generating business? Question mark.
Yeah, so that's the kind of things you can do. Yes. So that's kind of like I think like you can call it leverage buying or something because
Yeah,
you 10x your money and
that
then you
seems like a thing in real estate.
so real estate is different because there are also rules and laws for real estate is different. But also one of the big thing for real estate is because it's a very known market. So when you have something in real estate and you go to the bank and you're like, hey, I want a loan to buy a house, the bank knows how to value that house. So they're very comfortable in taking the house as collateral because it's very easy to kind of like value a house, like you kind of know. But let's say if you have a business and it's a website, it may make a lot of money, but first of all, you probably started 2-3 years ago, maybe even a year ago. So there's not much history for your website anyway. Second, like, do you think the clerks in the bank know how to value your website and understand your business? Probably not. So they're going to be very uncomfortable lending you money, you know? So they're like, okay, you're making great money and all that, but I want you personally to be liable for the money. So the loan is not your company or is not against your company. It's against like you personally. So even if the company goes broke, then you're still liable, you know? But when you
Instead of
make it,
using your house as collateral, you would use
no, they
yourself.
still use some, yeah, exactly.
Oh.
They use something from you, but it's not like they're not using the company. They may use the company, but the company and you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the reason for that is, like I said, it's just because it's obviously complicated to value an online business.
Now, I believe like a couple months ago we were talking about real estate, and it was some conversation about, if I had an extra couple 100,000, instead of buying a house, you said that you would much rather buy a website off Empire Flippers, spend 6 figures, $100,000, pump it up with SEO and ads, and then flip that.
Yes, but that's the business I know.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the business that I'm very comfortable with. Like, that's actually funny thing about it is I don't know anything about real estate. Like,
So
a lot of
you don't own like
come to me, they're like, oh, do you want to like go on this house? And like Airbnb, I a little bit understand it because it's a cash flow business. By the way, why my picture is so cut off in the video in YouTube?
Is it?
Yeah, when I'm on the channel. But like, anyway, so yes, so but then again, my answer to them is like, it's a good idea, but I have no idea anything about I have literally zero idea about real estate.
Yeah.
And it gets very complicated. Like, you have to, like, the deals that I said almost always no to are about, hey, let's buy this house and wait a few years and the price of whatever is going to go up, something like that.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, that sounds like interesting. Why do you think it's going to go up? And then they're like, oh, there's like this municipality plan here. There is like this subway coming here. And then there's like this other things changing. The zoning is changing, whatever. It goes from this to that and stuff. And I'm like, okay, sounds very, very interesting, but I have no idea what you're talking about, But if it's online businesses, then I kind of know, Like, I'll give you a very simple example. I have a couple of friends who want to start like Amazon businesses. And I tell them, okay, I finance it. And they're like, okay, what products should I look for? And I say, look for something pet related, And they're like, okay, why? And I simply say, because like when you read the trends and stuff like that, because of this whole COVID thing, a lot of people start buying dogs because I guess they're like alone in the house or whatever, So yeah, so I mean, whatever, the X amount of dog, whatever you want to call it, food, dog showering kit, dog bed, whatever. It was used to be sold. More dogs out there because of COVID, more people buying dogs. That number is going to go up,
Right.
But because I read these kind of things about, hey, what the pet is a big trend. Pets are a big trend, especially because of COVID, a lot of young people, they can't get married. What do? They get a dog. What do? They dress their dog like a toy or whatever, like a person. They buy a jacket. They buy dog socks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of trends.
I'm not judging. What I mean, that trend is like 20 years ago, nobody was buying dog socks.
Right. Yeah, you gotta be indifferent to the market.
It's a new thing. It's like young people buy their dog socks or socks. Yeah. It's called socks or dog shoes. What is it called? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I saw a dog here in Florida, and it had like rain boots on.
Okay, exactly. Okay, so that's exactly what I mean. Yes. Okay, so
and like a little poncho.
So 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, you would not see that. You know what I mean? It's a new thing.
Yeah.
So people who do new things, not always, but usually they do them on the internet. I may be wrong, but usually they don't go to a store and they're like, hey, you know what? Do you have any dog shoes? They probably saw some ad somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how the purchase decision is made. So that's what I told them. I was like, hey, I don't know anything about dogs. But what I see, there's more dogs, random shit getting sold online. So try to be part of that trend. The chance of it failing is still pretty high, but it's just lower than if you sell some, I don't know, something that's old people buy.
Houses.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have no idea about houses. Like, yeah. I'm not a houses guy. Real estate.
Right.
Airbnb is the only thing that's a little bit different because it's just pure cash. Like Airbnb is like buying a hotel, kind of. You know what I mean? So like you have to have a like. There is different in Airbnb because I just look at numbers for the cash flow. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I don't need to know the city plan and whatever is like the zoning is and all that sort of stuff. You know.
I don't know anything about real estate either, but Index HTML says in USA, get SBA loan. You got 90% on your deal financed, but you got to bring them a hot deal that makes sense. I could have got a $300,000 loan from SBA. They just wanted $30,000 from me. I just wrote up a one-page digital marketing company plan. I don't have the $30,000 though.
So is SBA, what is this? Small business something?
Small
By the way, how
Business
come my
Association.
picture is still caught up in this YouTube channel? You got to up your game for editing.
Wait. What do you mean cut off?
Do you see my Zoom link on the Zoom?
Your face is perfectly symmetrical and centered.
Oh, okay. So you're looking, okay, right there. It looks great.
Yeah, that's
Go
what
to the
people see on YouTube.
channel. No, it's not.
This you're talking about?
No, I'm actually on the YouTube channel.
You're actually on the YouTube.
If you go on the actual YouTube channel, the face looks caught up. Type 1 in the comments if my hair is caught off in the YouTube channel.
Dude, you are tripping. Here, I'm going to send you a screenshot right now on Slack.
You know what? I'm going to send you a... Oh, okay, you're right. Never mind. No, my browser was zoomed in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're good. I wouldn't do that to you. Well, okay. So all right, let's get back on track before I lose my train of thought.
Okay, what is SBA? Small Business Administration. Is that something? What that is? SBA loan? That's the deal I'll take.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on SBA by any means, although the squawk on the street. Yeah, it's SBA is basically like if you have a small business, if you're a sole proprietor or you have an LLC, because of the economic disaster or whatever they want to claim it, it's very easy to get these super high or a lot of money for the loan with low interest.
Dude, you got to be out of your mind not to do that.
I know.
Okay, who is the loan against? That's the question. Like what we just talked about. Is it against you or is it against the company?
I think Index HTML, please chime in here. I don't know the answer to this one. We can look it up.
My keyboard suddenly stopped working in the middle of this whole thing.
SBA loan against you or business. Well, they give it to sole proprietors. So.
Oh, okay. If it's so sole prop, I cannot say that word, by the way. If it's the sole P, then it's you. Okay. So you're liable.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal, though. So sometimes you come across government programs that you're like, okay, this sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
And the whole notion of too good to be true is almost always correct, unless the other side of the coin does not have a profit motive, and the government does not have a profit motive. So,
well, there is some interest.
At least I would say $150,000 worth of grants in the past 5 years from the government.
Okay.
You know, and it's literally grant. Like I don't even have to pay it back. This is the government of Canada, by the way, not US. But and some of it was like bad ideas too. And you think that's bad. I know people who got like well into 7 figures from the government.
Or just a business idea?
Technology research, but yes, more or less business idea. But it's like technology business related, you know.
Uh-huh. As a grant?
So grants, yes, yeah. So some of the grants is not exactly like they don't pay you 100%. They're like, hey, if you're spending money on research, we pay you half of whatever you spend, you know?
I see.
So like if I'm paying you, Roy, as a software engineer, I pay you $100,000, but then the government pay me $50,000.
I see.
You know?
What's the incentive for them on that?
Oh, that's what I was going. The government role is not to make money. The government role is to kind of like make the economy to the money to flow in the economy. I passed the econ class. I forgot the name of it. It's kind of like I forgot. It's kind of like called the multiplier effect or something like that. So the idea is the government pays me $100,000. I pay you $50,000 from the $50,000 grant. I pay you $50,000. Then you go rent a house with the $50,000. The house owner then buys whatever like groceries, and then that goes to the farmer who made the groceries, goes to the distribution channel. So this whole $50,000 gets multiplied 5, 6, 7 times until it kind of ends up in some rich asshole's bank account and sits there forever.
That's what someone was saying about like the stimulus checks that are going out right now. That's why like the market is so high. Because people aren't spending money and they're just sitting on savings, and like everyone's just like everybody's savings are going to be like rocket fuel for the market.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are buying dogs.
Dogs.
And dog shit. Yeah.
Great investment.
That's why they buy socks for their dogs.
Well, if you're not,
they have too much money.
If you're not,
nobody who doesn't have enough money will buy socks for their dogs.
That is a sign of good times in the economy.
No, it's a sign of good times for that person.
So if you're not an expert in the real estate area, do you know anything about the market, the stock market, USA stock market?
No, okay, I know about the economy, but no, stock market is, so that's, I know a little bit about stock market. This is what I know about stock market.
If you had an extra 100,000, would you put it into Tesla right now or put it into Bitcoin?
I don't know. No. Me personally, no.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an extra 100,000. I'm not putting it there.
Yeah.
I have crypto, but I bought them a long time ago.
Yeah.
I bought them I think 3 years ago, maybe even more. But so Tesla, the same thing. The thing is you don't, so that's the point. So this is the point. So I would not say no. If I want to actually answer you very sophisticated manner, I would answer it this way. I would say, when do you want to take that $100,000 back? Because you're saying, okay, you have $100,000. Where would you put it? Would you put it in Bitcoin? Would you put it in crypto, or Tesla? My question to you would be, are you willing to not touch that $100,000 for the next 10 years? You know, or is it something that you may, even a 5% chance you may want it 1 month from now, or maybe 1 year from now? So that's my most important question. Because if you want to, and comes back to the second part. If you think you can beat the market, I know people who beat the market in terms of financial stock market. And when you see what they do in terms of research and dedication and spending time, then you're like, oh, okay, this is what you need to do. I'm out of here, because this is way too much work, let alone the giant companies that have all this software and whatever HFT, for high frequency trading and all that sort of stuff, let alone all the information that are not public, legal insider information kind of thing.
Insider trading.
It's not insider trading as much as it's hey, they know things that you don't know,
Right.
But when you see, oh, okay, these guys, this is how these guys make money, then you stay away.
Yeah, there was something on Netflix that talked about investment bankers, just how scummy they were back in the day. I think it's a lot more regulated now, but it was just talking about how crazy investment banking was.
Yeah, in terms of the
bankers, they would have parties that were very extravagant, and they would invite all these people, and they would get them, all drunk and drugged out, and then they would get these people to basically sign these massive deals.
Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical about exactly how it works out, but no, yeah, I know some of these people. That's not how exactly it works. The way it works is that obviously people who are young, so the investment bankers work their ass off. Okay.
Yeah.
They work literally till 2 a.m. That's why they're on coke all the time, because they work all the time. Okay.
What do they do?
they do research. They like work multi time zones, you know, so like Hong Kong, London, that sort of stuff. So they have like people they call different time zones, and then they do. That's what I mean. These are the guys who beat the market. You look at them and like, oh yeah, this is what it takes. I'm out of here. So, but the point is, what do you do? So, and you make a lot of money, but in order to do that kind of work, you're not in your 70s. You know, you're probably like some 20-year-old kid, and give a 20-year-old kid $1 million a year or $10 million a year. Guess what? He's gonna throw at some parties. You know what I mean? So it just comes with the territory. But yeah.
All right. There we have it. Taxes, investments, stock market, stay away. Yeah, see, if I like right now I don't have that type of extra money, and even if I did, I would probably want it in the next couple of years, you know, within the next 10 years. So, it doesn't really make sense for me to start putting money into Tesla and whatever other
No, but that
investments
comes
are
back to the same thing. Like, let's say if you're an online marketer and your expertise is Shopify, right? What do you want to do? You want to spend $10,000 buying Tesla or $100,000 buying Tesla. You are betting that Tesla, which is a giant company, and the bigger the companies, the more wasteful they are. You're betting that they are better and more efficient than running their business than you, which
Yeah.
is right off the bat tells me you're not confident in yourself. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's why I haven't bought any stocks.
But at the same time, you have to invest in yourself too and in your own company.
Yeah, I think you told me that a long time ago, and it like stuck to my brain like really well. And that's why I haven't touched stocks, crypto, or anything. It's just if I have extra money at some point, I can spend it on content, hiring other people, ads, whatever I need, instead
Yes,
of
that's a much better
locking it up.
investment, I think, for you. Yes, especially for you because you're also like just like very young too. You don't have any family and stuff too. So yes, I agree.
Alone in the wild. So, that's a good transition into our first topic of the night. Um, Personally, I feel like there's so many skills that need to be harnessed and almost mastered as a young entrepreneur to be successful in business. How do you know what to focus on, especially when you don't have a lot of capital to hire other people to do certain things like copywriting and writing content, you know, fixing up things on stores, email, ads, all that stuff.
Okay, so first you need to figure out what you need, what you're trying to do. So what the exact question is? You're trying to say how to focus on doing things, or like what things you need to focus on?
So like, all right, if I have a goal in the next 12 months, I want to
What's your
get
goal in the next 12 months, right?
That's a good question. My goal in the next 12 months is to have something that I took from 0 to 6 or 7 figures, whether that's the Remy store that we're trying to partner up with, or it's Chaos Concealment Holsters, or we start that holster drop shipping company, like whatever I'm doing in the e-commerce space. I want to be able to take a store from literally nothing to 100,000 a month revenue, or 200,000 a month, whatever it is. And in order to hit that, like for SEO, you have to hire content writers, you have to hire graphic designers, you have to hire somebody who can work on a Shopify store, you got to hire someone to do email marketing, to do ads. Like there's a lot of manpower that goes into building brands. So if you are someone like me who doesn't have 10,000 a month to just burn through, how do you achieve that goal, you know, and staying focused? How do you know what to focus on? Because when I work on stores now, it's like I have to do copy here and there, I have to do email here and there, I have to do SEO, I have to do the design of the site. Like I feel like I'm spreading myself too thin.
Okay, so yes, that's always the case. And it's supposed to be the case because at the beginning, when you don't have money, you have to do things yourself. Okay. That's normal.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, there is a Like there is some sort of a price you have to pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a, what do they call it? Price of admission, something like that.
The
You know?
cost to be the boss.
Yeah. So there is so, and part of that is that you need to kind of do different things to know what are the things, and at the same time constantly look for other people who can do those things for you, and then you see if you can find somebody who is better than you than doing that things, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
then you have to convince them to help you out.
Yeah. Which I've been able
So
to
I give you an
do.
example actually. So we are trying to do a fitness thing with some girls, like some dancing things,
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
and we're looking for a female copywriter in the same niche, etc., etc. So we found somebody who has, who I think she got a lot of potential. Obviously, she doesn't have a lot of experience, but I think she's good because I look at the trends. When I'm trying to hire people, I look at trends. It's a sidetrack, funny story. I talk to it. So there was like a software developer we're trying to hire, and someone made an introduction about someone else to me, and I'm not leading that project. So like it's like something that we own, but I'm not leading the project. So I was like, hey, buddy, to the person who's leading the project, I was like, hey, do an interview with Mason. Mason is the name of the software guy. I was like, hey, do an interview with this guy. I heard good things about him. So the guy who's the project manager did that interview, and he decided that the Mason guy doesn't have the skills, that he was looking for. So he didn't hire him. And after a while, I was looking at somebody to do something else, and I look at this guy's resume, and I noticed he's from this very small, and I'm talking about small, like border town in Iran. Okay, and but now he is in the major city and works for a software company that is somewhat reputable. You know, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I was like, hey, let's have a call. So I had a chat with him, and the guy said that, by the way, I'm like, if whatever you want to hire me in the next 6 months, really good chance of me and my wife, we're gonna move out of Iran. We're gonna probably migrate to Turkey and live there. So it's kind of like, I'm just telling you, my life in the next 6 months, really good chance gonna change. I was like, oh, okay, where did you start it? He's like, yes, came from this small town in blah, blah. And I was like, did you go to school? And he's like, no. And I was like, how did you learn computer programming? He's like, yeah, I self-taught, and I learned some stuff online, and I did like this small certificate at schools and stuff like that. And I was like, how did you get this job? And he's like, oh yeah, I got that other job, etc. Like one thing led to another. Then I moved to Tehran. I found my wife. Like we got married, etc., etc. And he did not have the skills that I was looking for either in terms of technical skills, but I hired him anyway because I was talking to my buddy, the project manager, who didn't hire him. I said, hey, by the way, I hired May Sam. And he's like, what did you hire him for? And I was like, I don't know. But I looked at his resume. I looked at the trends, right? And I see somebody from a really I'm talking this border town in Iran is like, dude, there's literally nothing there. Like I'm talking nothing. Like, like you see these movies from like, not as bad, but like Syria and stuff, that like their towns that's kind of like just like war zone kind of town.
Yeah, like just shacks, everything's one level.
Yeah, exactly. Her town
Nothing
is not
inside.
like that. It's not like that.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not. It's not. But that's the image you should have in your mind compared to where you live.
Right.
So, and I was like, hey, this guy started from there, didn't go to school, and right now he's in the biggest city in Iran, working for a reputable software company, married, and in 6 months he's gonna go to Turkey. And migrating out of Iran is actually a big deal for people these days. I was like, I don't know what this guy can do, but I'm in. Whatever this guy wants to do, I'm in, because I'm looking at the trend. You know what I mean? Same for the copywriter girl that I was talking about for the fitness project. I had a conversation with her. She started as a history major, whatever, and then she went to some school. I don't know exactly what she did in the school. Like one of these academic program, like after school thing. If I may be wrong, like exactly the timeline, but she's a history major. does some stuff for TV shows, some writing, and I think she's like making movies somewhat, something like that. And she took a copywriting course from one of these people who like teach copywriting and stuff. And already got a couple of clients, maybe through family and friends or whatever. And this was like last year. So I looked at her things and I was like, okay, whatever she is. And then she was on a call with us too, because I think she was referred to us. Again, I looked at the trend. I was like, okay, her copywriting is, I sent it to a couple of our copywriters, and what did they say? It was not the best. They didn't give her great reviews. Let me say it this way. They say it's good, but it's not great. Something like that. So when I look, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, this girl, I'm looking at it. And then she took a call with us on December 31st or when it was January 1st. Anyway, during holiday period at something that would have been 10 p.m. her time, because she's in London. And I'm looking at the trend. I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't care if her copywriter is great or not, but she can do something. There's something she can do. That's all I care about. When I'm hiring people, that's all I care about. Is there something that you can do that you put all your energy and effort to it? Whether it's moving from a town to a different town, whether it's learning a new set of skills, whether it's designing a thumbnail on a video, whether it's writing a great copy. That's what I'm looking for. Is there something that you like, hey, you know what? I'm all in this. So that's the thing. So I hired her too. But back to the compensation. So I told her, hey, how much, for example, you charge for, I forgot exact numbers, but like, hey, how much you charge for us? And she's like, $5,000, something like that. It was like more different discussion, like hourly rates and stuff. And I said, hey, your experience is not good. You don't have much like whatever set of skills in fitness that we're looking for. And you don't have much experience in direct copywriting either. But I see a trend in you trying to learn new things and stuff. So here I'll make a deal for you. Well, instead of charging $5,000, I pay you $2,000, But if the project, let's say, make $200,000, I give you a $20,000 bonus,
Okay.
So she hasn't said yes. This was literally yesterday we told her this. So, but that was the offer, and we'll see where it goes. But that's the point. If she has that attitude, then yeah. So back to the point. Is she the best copywriter in the world? No. Is she even great at her job? No. Is she better than me? Yes. A lot better than me.
Yes, tenacity.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of copywriting, But at the same time, even if copywriting isn't great, maybe tomorrow she could be the head of support or whatever, because that's the thing. Maybe she could be the communication manager. Maybe she could be helping with the operation. Maybe she could help with the scheduling. Maybe she could help with video editing. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But what I do know is this: when she wants to do something, she makes a move and she actually tries. And she has a good record of actually showing it,
It sounds like you're hiring people based off their character and like determining sort of like,
yes, 100%.
Yeah, like who they are as a person instead of like the skills they have. I think you told me one time too, you're like, I don't like hiring experts because they're assholes, they're hard to deal with. I'd rather hire someone who's like half as good as the expert, but also has a lot of willpower and like just a fire going in them.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you hire, okay, so that's not exactly what I said, because one of the things for expert is like, if you're an expert, there are two types of expert. There are type of expert that are actually expert, and there are type of people who act like experts.
Okay.
So if you are an actual expert, you don't act like an expert, because guess what? You're an expert. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it's kind of like those white people who act like black people. If you're a black person, you don't act like black people. You're just black. You know what I mean?
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah. But that's the point. Is so there are a large number of expert people out there that they do a lot of talking, but they do not show why they are an expert in it. if that makes sense. Same exact project. We are looking, like I said, to hire a copywriter, right?
Mhm.
So we went to some of these YouTube copywriters and stuff like that, and like they look at their page and like some of these things that they teach other people how to become a YouTube copywriter, etc., etc. If you go on their page, there is literally nothing that tells me that they are a good copywriter other than them keep telling me and everybody that they are a great copywriter. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So there is not any kind of there is no, like, if you're a great stock market trader, you know what I mean? You're not going to keep telling people, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm an amazing stock market. You're never ever gonna say that. You're gonna say, hey, guess what? I had this much money. I started. I invested in this, and I invested in that, and these 5 things, and then I did that, and this is boom, voila. You know.
Right.
Or you come in and like, hey, I think this 3-4 company gonna go up, and this is why I think. You show your work, and that's it. That's where you stop. You don't say anything about how great you are.
Yeah, that judgment lies in the person who's hiring you or whatever.
Yeah, and the most important part about it is you don't even care because you're good at your job. If you're a really good copywriter, you don't care what other people think about you.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think it was, yeah, I think you said something about hiring copywriters who like charge a certain amount by the word, and you were saying that you don't like hiring those copywriters because they write to make money. You would rather hire a writer who likes to write.
Yeah, and that's another part about it is very similar to exactly what you're saying that I said before is why would you hire a copywriter? Okay, so that's another thing. That's actually I talked to Daniel about this too, that they're like, okay, how long do you want this copy to be? That's a question right off the bat that kind of throws me off. You know what I mean?
Right. You're
I'm
like,
like,
I
what do
don't
you mean?
know.
I'm not a copywriter. You're the one. You tell me how long.
I don't know. You quote me.
Why do you think I'm asking you? Because I'm trying to hire you. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not a good copywriter. If I knew how long this has to be, guess what? I would not be talking to you. I would write it down.
Yeah.
You know? So same thing is like, imagine you're a fitness guy, and you like, imagine you're a personal trainer, and somebody who's overweight comes to you, and you ask him, hey, and actually I'm sure a lot of them do ask too, they're like, how much weight you want to lose. You know what I mean? And the answer is, I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be overweight. Tell me how much weight I have to lose.
Yeah.
So that's how I looked at it. Because when a person comes to you to hire you, or like for this kind of stuff, they're, guess what? They don't know what they want. They kind of know what the problem is, but they don't know anything about the solution. And the less you tell them, the less you ask them, the more comfortable they feel. Like, about the details. You can ask him, you're like, okay, who you want to sell it to? Who is your audience? What's the price point? How are you selling it? How are you finding the traffic? Okay, great. I'm going to give you a great landing page copy 2 weeks from now, and then you're going to be like, oh, okay, great. How long it's going to be? And it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to have a video that's 20 minutes and probably 5 pages, or like maybe 1 page, maybe half a page. But the thing is, the copywriter tells you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if the guy says, no, I want this to be only 1 page, the copywriter should tell you, no, I won't do a shitty job. You don't tell me how long this has to be. It's actually be the other way around. Like, if I was a copywriter and somebody comes to me and he's like, hey, I want this to my wife is a designer. Okay. So she's like interior design, and she hates and she's pretty good. And she's very good. So the clients that she hates the most are people that tell her, oh, can you design my room? Oh, by the way, I want this painting to be on the wall. Like, oh, I want the bed sheet to be blue.
And then she has to like design the whole room around that one aspect.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, you know what? No, like, and then at the end of the day, they're like, oh, okay, this is great. but she still thinks it looks shit. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
she's like, no, guess what? If you had not told me that, I would have made some. I know you think this is great, but this is not great. I could have done a lot better. So by not telling her anything, you actually give her the freedom to do the very best she thinks she can do. And those are the kind of people I'm looking for. Somebody who comes in and he's like, hey, or her, that says, hey, you know what? You want this to be done? Don't constrain me in any way, shape, or form. And I give you the very best I can do. That's the kind of person I want to work with, for, or with, or have around.
Yeah.
So,
Those
but you don't, if you're an entrepreneur, you're starting up, obviously you don't have to hire people. But again, if those guys are really confident in their job, and that's the thing, you want people who are confident in their job, then you can tell them, okay, are you willing to put money where your mouth is?
yeah.
So that's the trick.
I think
It's not a trick, it's just an honest conversation. And by the way, this is what my approach is. There are a lot of different approaches out there that I'm sure works really good. It's just not the culture I want to have around me.
yeah. I think the discrepancy for me is like when you do client work, for example, I have one of my clients, Chaos Concealment Holsters. They don't really have a budget for content. Like I can't go out and spend $3,000 a month on writers, designers, SEOs, and stuff to do what I want to do. So the other part is I don't have my own brand. So like, I don't, if I had my own e-commerce store, I wouldn't mind investing that extra 10,000 that I have into that e-commerce store. But why would I do that for one of my clients' stores when they're not even paying me for it?
Because then don't do it then.
I know. So that's the problem that I've been trying to figure out is like,
yeah.
Well, I guess it's like, so what do I do? Because like I told you, I want to.
Two options. I know exactly what you mean. So you got two options. First of all, number one, you would never ever start learning these things unless you kind of do it. Again, comes back to the price of admission. You know what I mean? So now you work with that company, and then you're like, hey, you know what? If you want to have a great SEO, like SEO, the Shopify store, you need to have this thing. I know this because I did my research. I really want to try these things out, but it needs time and budget, and I don't have it. This guy doesn't have it. I can go maybe do it myself, but whether I do it or I don't do it, I will not get compensated for it. That's the biggest thing. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You cannot expect people to do the very best they can do without properly compensating them. So the offer that I put in front of it at the end of the day, long story short, is, hey, I can show you similar project for us in 6 months is gonna make somewhere between 300 to 400, like $300,000 to $400,000, okay, in somewhere like 6 months time. And I show it to her. I was like, hey, this is the stuff we've done similar, okay? I'm missing this piece that you can help it. If you think you're really good, instead of charging me $5,000 today, charge me $2,000 today. But if we can take it where I think we can take it based on the previous evidence that we have done, then you're gonna get paid an extra $20,000. So do you want $5,000 guaranteed today or $2,000 guaranteed today plus a $20,000 payout at the end of the 6 months? And obviously one of the things it needs to be successful is you doing a really good job. So I kind of putting the ball in her court, say, hey, she hasn't yet said yes or no to this, by the way, so this is new, but the idea is like, hey, you think you're up for a challenge and you want to learn and you want to like get good at this craft, then here, this is your opportunity, show me. So she may do it and it might be successful, and we may make a lot of money, and she only get paid, and then funny thing, she would only get paid $20,000, and then she would be like, hey, you guys made $200,000 and I'm only getting paid 20, so I'm kind of getting screwed. She's right, okay? But guess what? if that project is actually successful, for the next project, I need another copywriter, right? Who would be the first person I would go to here?
Her.
Exactly. I would not going to go to somewhere else. You know what I mean? I would not going to go down this whole rabbit hole
Yeah,
of
finding
doing
another person.
exactly, because it's a major pain, yes, and it's hard to find people. And then next time I come to her, I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe you get the percentage in perpetuity. You got become a partner kind of thing, you know. But you got to at the beginning, you got to, because I'm taking a risk on you, so I want to limit my downside, but at the same time, I'm limiting my upside. Because the other problem is she does a bad job. I have to hire someone else, and then I have to cut that other person a new deal, you know?
Right.
And then I have to go back to her and renegotiate this whole thing, you know?
Yeah. And you
So
lose
that's the
time.
thing. Yeah. Like there is a price you have to pay. When you're doing high-tech startup, there's a saying they say, don't ever try to hit a home run in your first try.
Mhm.
And it's very true, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know if what I'm doing is considered a high tech startup, but really it's like I'm at a fork in the road, right? It's like my freshman year of running a business. I'm at the end of the freshman year. And I don't know if I should stick with the client side of things. I mean, obviously we're doing things, you know, so we have stuff in motion, but like I want my own e-commerce store. Like I'm helping Goal with Chill Switch and stuff like that, but I want a project where like I feel comfortable putting in 8 hours every single day on the weekends and everything, because I know that I like the buck stops with me. Like I'm working on this e-com store. It's mine. I have 10,000. I'll hire the writers, the ads, whatever, you know, but I need something to work with, because right now my problem is I work with Chaos Concealment, but like they don't have the budget for ads. They don't have the budget for content or SEO. So it's like I'm dead in the water with that, you know, and it's like, and
So
so
what you do,
the reason why I'm hesitant to hire other clients is because I don't want that same story. I'd rather just make a store myself.
back to the conversation, exactly. And that's why we don't do people. We don't do work with do it for fees anymore.
Yeah.
Like as a company, we're not a we're not a we're good at what we're doing, but we don't charge anything anybody.
Well, I do profit share with Chaos, but I only get, you know, I don't get 50%. I'm getting like 15% right now.
So, but that's the thing. You can renegotiate that.
Right. Like
And that's
if I were to put my money into it.
yeah, you can tell them. You can go up to them right now and tell them. I mean, if it is something, I mean, I have to look at the okay, so not right now, but I have to look at their numbers and the data
Yeah.
and stuff. And I can tell you if this is something we can invest in it. But and by the way, probably that answer is no. But you can go to people and you're like, hey, I can see the goal, and it's I don't know X number of meters ahead of me, or feet if you're an American, and but I can't get there because I need these 3 different pieces. But guess what? Those 3 different pieces, I know we need them, but I am shitty at doing those things. But I know we need them. You know, like right now we're trying to grow this whole thing. Okay, like with terms of like different courses and stuff like that. And I was telling you too that that we need somebody who sleeps at night and wakes up in the morning and worries about the in terms of like how polished things are on the inside, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody needs to about how people feel, not what they get, but how they feel. Do they feel like, you know what I mean, like that kind of like feeling. And I know we need this, okay. And I talk with him too, and I'm like, you know we need this, right? And he's like, yes. And I was like, first of all, I'm not good at doing that. Second of all, I don't want to be that guy. It's not a set of skill that I have or I want to have. It's not something that you, and I think same thing for him too. He has the set of skills better than me, but for him, I was like, it's not where your strength is. It's not, you can do things that are a lot more valuable than that. But we need someone like that. And we need someone like that on the team. And then we're talking about this other guy. I say, hey, like that guy is a perfect fit for this, you know? So let's try to convince him to kind of join force on this. The idea here is that there are things that you know you need, but you cannot do, or you don't want to do, or it's better you don't do it either, but
Right.
you kind of need it anyway. So how you can get those, I don't know. You can go ask him and cut him a deal. You can find a copywriter and you're like, hey, Mr. Copywriter, you go to the chaos concealment and say, hey buddy, we need a copywriter for this. You go to the copywriter and you're like, hey, would you be okay with getting 20% of the profit or 20% of the revenue? And the person would be saying yes or no. And then, or say yes, but I need something. Then you go back to the chaos guy, like, hey, there's this great copywriter. I talked to him, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to cost us anything up front because you don't have money, but we need this guy. So he's going to charge us, I don't know, 20%. And it could be capped too, by the way. Like the agreement we had was capped. Like you can say, hey, it's going to be 20% up to $100,000, something like that. So they get 20% until it's $100,000. The idea is like when you need something, there is a balance. At some point you realize, hey, you know what? It's not a set of skill I can learn or I need to learn, but I need it anyway. So you have to go find someone.
Yeah, I think like, especially hiring Tatiana, Emily, Jake, Will, like all those people, I've learned like a little bit about the hiring process. So I know that if it comes to having to hire someone for like a personal project, you've sort of showed me what to look for and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I think I just need like my own project. And I don't know if that should be focusing on SEO, should it be focusing on email marketing, but I have to build like an asset for myself. Like we have ListStorm right now. I want to polish that up, but that's not related to SEO. So that's what I'm saying is like, I'm doing the Graham Stephan course for YouTube. Okay. Do I focus on SEO this year? Do I focus on email marketing and copywriting this year? That like, I'm so lost. I don't know what to do.
I see what you mean. So there is no right or wrong answer here. It will depend on your own personality, So there are people that are really good at what they're doing, but they are very one-dimensional. Yeah. Okay. And they're making like millions, if not billions of dollars. Okay. But there is only couple, like for example, like exactly the example I was telling you about the copywriter guy, the girl. If I'm coming to somebody who is a true expert and they tell me this is what you need to do. Have you heard Steve Jobs' first designer story or no?
Something about how he wanted to like take the vacation.
No. Okay. So there's this designer, which I forgot. It's not like an interior designer, like a graphic designer, and he made the IBM thing. Paul Rand. Do you know Paul Rand?
Paul Rand. Sounds familiar. Yeah.
He designed the logo of Ford. He designed I think either like IBM, UPS, Enron. Basically, he's like the godfather. He's the very best there ever was, that people say. Okay. So he, so this is the story that Steve Jobs came to him and he's like, hey, I want to design the next logo. Next is the name of the Steve Jobs company after Apple. So he's like, I want to design the next logo. And he's like, okay. And he talked to him about like what kind of culture it is. Whatever, like these art guys ask. I'm not an art guy. So he asked him the questions that like you needed to know about the culture and stuff like that. And Steve Jobs is like, okay, so how is this going to, and he's like, okay, it's going to cost you $200,000 for me to do it, like the price. And Steve Jobs is like, okay, am I going to get some sort of like 3 options in a week, like a month to pick from and blah, blah. He's like, no, I'm just going to give you what you want. And you can either use it or not use it, but it's going to cost you $200,000. Do you know what I mean? So he didn't give him any options. Because if Steve Jobs is not a graphic designer.
Right. $200,000 for that logo?
It's not the logo, it's branding for next computers. I'm coming up with the number like just off the cuff. I don't exactly know, but the number is
Yeah.
in thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Yes, for branding of like a but by the time, by the way, Steve Jobs had I think like $30 million at that point.
Mm.
And so it's not like he's designing the company next, which is like I don't know, like I think they started with 10, 20 people or something like that, you know.
It's like
So
value-based pricing.
yeah, but the point of the conversation is not about the pricing. The point of the conversation about is when this guy is good, he doesn't give any option.
Mm.
He comes in, he asks you about the things that you value for your company, what kind of team you are, what kind of culture you have, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna design it for you the way I think it solves your problem. You cannot use it if you want, but you don't tell me what is good, what is not good. Same back to when I'm telling you about my wife, like designing rooms and stuff. The best kind of clients that they come to her and they're like, hey, for example, this house is in Florida. We want something that's sunny, etc. Or like, this is how it looks like for 2 people and a dog living here, etc. These are the things. Go make it nice, you know?
Right.
And or like, for example, maybe some constraints are that, hey, I don't know, like you're designing the bedroom, but keep in mind our kitchen cabinet doors are red, you know, something like that. You know what I mean? Something that you can't change. But there is no information that tells other people, tells the other expert how the expert should do their job. The expert tells you what they need to do. Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, like how does this tie back into me figuring out what I should be doing this year?
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. You can be an expert at that level at one thing, which is great career path. Or you could be good at soft skills across multiple different things. Okay. That's the kind of person I am. You know, there are things that I'm really good at. But what I say is this, because like I oversee a lot of people. So I started at being good at like a couple of things, like really good. And then, but as soon as like we started growing, then I realized my time is best spent in hiring people and finding people who are better than me at doing what I'm doing. So even right now, we had actually management meeting with like during midweek, and I told the media buyer, and I say, hey buddy, if you are still doing the media buying, and right now we're spending what is it, like 2-something million a month on ads. I was like, if you are the one who is daily managing this campaign, something is wrong, man, because you should not be doing that. You should be thinking about what is the next. Like right now we're spending ads on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, let's try spending ads on TikTok. You know, let's start, I don't know, spending ads on Reddit or some like new like Twitch or something that's like other people have not heard of. You know, let's go try media buying directly from the what do we call it? Creators, influencers, whatever you call them these days. You know what I mean? Because you have a budget to spend this money instead of paying Google and then Google pays YouTube guys. Why don't I just go directly to YouTube guys and pay them?
I see.
You know, but these are the decisions you can make and things that you can try when you are not daily managing budgets. So I told him, hey, if you are the best at running campaigns, you have not found somebody that's better than you at running campaigns, you got a problem. Because I'm telling you, you're not the best person in the world at running campaigns. You know, there is definitely someone better than you, or someone will be better than you. So go find that person. You know, or maybe find somebody who has potential and then train him to be that person. But that is when you're already really good.
Right. Which I'm not.
So you need to be really good at something.
Yeah.
First. So that's the step one. Be really good. What do they call? Master your own craft. Master a craft.
Yeah.
That you're like, hey, you know what? At this thing, I'm good. But as you get older, as you get more experience, as the things becomes bigger, It doesn't mean that you're getting older age wise, but like the projects and stuff getting bigger and older. Then you realize, hey, you know what? Even though I'm really good at this thing, there is this kid who is not as good as me today, but with a little bit of dedication from their part, they can be as good as me. And then you give them a little bit of freedom. You kind of like try to train him a little bit, and then you come back at 6 months and you're like, oh shit, this guy is much better than me. Maybe they were better than you. Like maybe they actually got better than you, or maybe you got worse. But who cares? At this point, they're better than you. So that part of the business is already taken care of by someone who is better than you. But you're not just sitting on your hand. You're focused on doing something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what I think really is
like right now, what I'm really good at is talking to the lawyers and trying to understand how to manage and set up these complex corporate structures. That is kind of like, if I want to go into, I mean, I don't know, but if I want to go back in my career right now in 5-10 years, if it's a success, then I would look at back and I'm like, hey, you know what? At that stage of my career, I realized how we can merger and acquisition companies, how to finance deals, and that sort of stuff. But if I was in a company of two and I'm trying to run a marketing agency, I was thinking about how I'm acquiring companies and stuff like that would be a giant waste of time.
Right. I guess there's like a progression.
Yes, you'd kind of need to know where you are in the progress.
That's a good point. Like I've been trying to sort of evaluate my progress in like SEO and YouTube, communication, business, leadership, like all those skills I've been like incrementally getting better at. But overall, it's like, do I have a course with like 1,000 people in it and 300 of those 1,000 people are making money? No. Yeah. So I'm trying to get a skill where I could pass that along.
So try to focus on one thing right now you're saying, hey, there are 5 things that you kind of like stretch thin over. That's what you're telling me? Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing. When you're in that situation, 4 things you delegate to others. Okay. Doesn't even matter if they do an amazing job. Obviously, like you're working for us, so like don't do a shitty job. Just make sure they're good. Okay. Yeah. But they can be better. They can be worse than you, is what I mean. Okay. Like they cannot be dog crap, but they have to be decent at least, but they don't have to be as good as you. Okay. Like for example, writing or designing or whatever. Okay. SEO. Okay. That sort of stuff. But then from the 5 things, so for 4 of them, you have 5 things to do. For 4 of them, find something like that. For one, you have to go do the very best thing you can do to a point that you're like, it's impossible to find someone better than this, or it's impossible someone else could do a better job than this. And if somebody says, no, I can, guess what? It's great, because you picked the wrong one out of the 5. So you're like, hey, you know what? You do this, I go pick up one of the other 4. So that's what you need to do. But so what I mean is this: it's okay to switch from like one to the other one, okay? But you only switch when you do your best and then someone still do a better job. I was listening to Jeff Bezos and this funny, this is actually true. Anybody who's an engineer or a coder or a scientist had this experience happen to them in some way, shape, or form. Like I have exact stories like this. That he was saying Jeff Bezos was a really good student. I actually didn't know that, but he was like got good grades, went to good school, studying physics and stuff, either astrophysics or quantum physics, and there was this differential equation that was very hard to solve, and I kind of know exactly what he's talking about too. It's funny. So, and him and his other friend, who was also a good student at a good school, so everybody's smart already here, and he couldn't solve it. They spent like 2 hours, 3 hours to try to solve it. They couldn't solve it, and then they went to they're like, hey, let's go to the what do you call it, the nerd in the class, number 1, the guy that
Yeah.
Like every class has one.
Right. Right.
If you ever been to school,
Oh yeah.
you know, like that dude is like, that's the guy, So they're like, hey, let's go ask this guy, like the guy. So they went to him, and he kind of like looks at it for like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 minute silence. And he's like, the answer is cosine. And they're like, what? And he then goes in and writes like a page or 2 pages of documents, like solving this and simplifying it. And the answer, everything cancels out, and the answer is cosine. And then they ask him, they're like, hey buddy, did you do all that in your head in like 1 minute? And the guy's like, oh no, this is very hard. I actually came across a similar problem that I could map back to this like about like a year and a half ago. And it's similar, it's not this, but it's similar to this. And that's how it works. And that's because of that, I could map it back to that. So because of that, then I realized it's going to be cosine. And Jeff Bezos is like, at that point, I decided I should switch to computer science. Because in physics, what do they say? There are levels to this game, And at some point you realize, oh, holy shit, man, I'm nowhere near the level of these other guys. But that's great. In business, that's great. Because in business, you can find out a hierarchy. You know what I mean? So in business, when you're working, I mean, I guess in some way you can say in everything, like life's like that. But what I mean is like, it's now you're trying to actually solve a problem. You can go to the guy every time you have a partial differential equation problem right now, the guy to go to, So at that point, if you're still trying to get better at solving partial differentials, you are wasting your time. Go find something else better to do. Go find something to do that guy cannot do. And guess what? There's a lot of them.
It makes a lot of sense. And it's almost, I feel that way about SEO right now, because it's like, wow, I have money now and I can hire SEOs. Like I don't have to do it anymore. I'd rather be doing the email copywriting to sell a course on SEO, which those SEO guys can't do. And then I can find someone to do that copywriting. And then, naturally, I guess I would move up more into like figuring out how to scale the business up or something.
Exactly. So yes, but again, this is the thing. Whatever you're doing, you have to give it a good shot to know. So basically, you have the story for the Jeff Bezos story. The reason it's also you need to pay attention to the beginning part of it is that they tried really hard, him and his buddy, for like, I don't know, it's like 2-3 hours. These partial differential equations, I don't know if you ever solved one in school. It's a bitch, man. It's kind of like you see it, and then there's like 3 different things you can do. Almost you have to seen it before somewhat, like
I dealt with it in cryptography.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't don't have much experience in cryptography, but I remember my partial differential equation exams very clearly, which by the way I got an A on.
Nice.
Is that I was talking to my friend that the good thing about this exam is there's no thinking involved. You either seen this problem before in practice, or you just move on.
Oh yeah,
the chance of you solving it during the exam is 0. So there's no bullshitting around,
Yeah.
But you get to that point after you give it, you should really, really try it, And sometimes you surprise yourself. Sometimes you can actually like solve them too. But the point is you have to first try really hard. And after you get that point, the point is you should never say to yourself when somebody does a better job than you that, yeah, I could have done that too. You know what I mean? That's the trick. That's the important part. You should never come to a position that somebody does a better job than you and you tell to yourself, oh yeah, I could have done that too. No, the answer should be like, oh, holy shit. Like, I could not do that. Good thing I didn't do it.
Right.
That's where, and when you find that, then move on and keep in touch with that guy or girl.
Yeah.
Because you would need him.
Someone said in 1986, Steve Jobs paid Renowned graphic designer Paul
that.
Rand, 100,000 to create a visual identity for his computer company. Okay, so it was 100,000. Still pretty hefty.
Yeah, so it sounds like, and it's 1986. That's really hefty, and it sounds like he's copyright, like he copy pasted it from somewhere because the way it's written. But visual identities basically means brand guidelines. So it includes the logo, colors, and that sort of thing. So it's also not a very small project. It's not like he just designed a logo, you know. So that's what it is.
So I think here's what I'm hearing from all this. Basically, you're saying try and get as good as you can at something before you move on to the next thing, right? So it sounds like I should do like maybe like a pet store or something that I have full control over and I can hire people for and like do that and then move on to something.
So hold on. There's two things. So don't confuse having full control with vested control, because you should never have full. So you have full control over your own things anyway. But what does full control mean? It means you want to like own 100% of it, or what?
Just so I'm not at the mercy of someone else's budget.
Okay, so one couple of things. That is not your problem. Your problem is not like with the concealment things. Okay, your problem is not that. Your problem is the what is it, 10%, 15%? What is it?
Yeah, 15.
Your problem is the 15% is not motivating enough. Because if the 15% was 100%, then you would be a lot more motivated, you know?
Right.
Doesn't mean you would still like, it would still be a slam dunk, but you would be a lot more motivated. That would put you in a position that you could go out there and then you could find, what was the lack, SEO guy or a copywriter? Or a content writer?
Yeah, content writer, SEO guy, paid ads guy, all that stuff.
Okay, so media buyer, content writer, and stuff like that. When you have 100% control, that would put you in a position to go to these skill sets that you kind of know they're doing a better job than you, and you tell them, "Hey, buddy, here's the deal. Do a good job for me here. Do the very best you can do, and I give you 20%, 10%. But now you only have 15%, so you can't do it, you know, or the money is so small."
Yeah.
And if the person says, no, I don't do work like that, great, go find someone else, you know, go keep finding someone. The idea here is, doesn't mean, again, you have to find the very best media buyer or content writer in there. You need to find the very best one you can afford that can do a better job than you. You know, the other part about it is you can also do a good job yourself too, but when you're getting 15%, then it's a little bit tricky.
That's what I'm saying.
It's I'm not getting paid enough.
Yeah, for 15%, like I'd rather just go do my own thing.
So then go do your own thing.
I know. I've just been, I've been so busy with like right now, for example, I'm doing a course from Mute 6 on email marketing. So I'm learning like all the flows that go into e-commerce stores.
So hold on a second. Are you taking the course?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Yeah. So like right now, because I feel stuck, so to speak, and you've kind of like helped me figure out why I feel stuck. I figured I would just spend my time learning like new skills. Like I'm learning all about email marketing. I'm almost done with the email course, so I want to do a copywriting course after that.
Okay, hold on a second. Copy. Okay, so here's the thing. So you're making a big mistake here. Don't try, because right now you're saying in two things. So you're saying in one side, you're saying you are stretched too thin, okay, across multiple things. And then you're also saying that you're trying to develop a new set of skills to start something else.
Well, I mean, it all ties back to e-commerce though.
But that doesn't matter, man. If you have 3-4 things to do, and you're motivated enough so if you're not motivated enough, you can talk to them, you know, like you can go to the consultant guy and ask for, hey, you know what, you're not paying me money, but you, instead of 15%, give me 50, you know, give me 70, I don't know, like give me 50%, give me 70%, 80%, up to $100,000. After that, you can just own the whole thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can structure a deal like that. You're like, hey, buddy, here's the deal. You need 2-3 things. I would really like spend my entire year do this, but you obviously don't have the money to pay me, but I think this has a lot of potential. I cut you a deal. I'll do everything for you, and I'm not going to charge you $1. Okay. But after the first $100,000 this thing makes goes to me. After that, it all goes to you, and after that, I'm gone. Or like after that, I can go back to 10% or whatever it is. But the first $100,000 comes to me. You know, the guy might say yes. The guy might say no. But at the like, if you come to me with an offer like that right now, I'm going to tell you 100% yes. If you come to me right now, and that's actually, you remember I told you like a friend of mine is an engineer, wants to do a e-com store, like an Amazon store. Actually, e-com, not Amazon. Okay. That's what I told him. I said, hey, buddy, here's the deal. I know you're trying to leave your job. How much you making? He's like $5,000 a month. Not much. I was like, okay, here's the deal. I pay for everything for the store. You know, like you need to buy like whatever products, they need to ship them. You need to pay fees. You need to buy softwares. I pay for all that. Okay. Whatever money we make, you take 100% of the profit. Okay. But after but up to $5,000 a month. You know, after the $5,000 a month, then we do a split, like 50-50. Okay. That is, and if you want me to do the entire marketing and advertising and stuff like that, then I have to do the deals with them too. So it's gonna be me, you, and them. So it would be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. But either way, I guarantee you one thing: the first $5,000 doesn't matter if I bring 10 people on board or I bring 100 people on board, and we all each own 1% or 10%. You included. What I guarantee you this: the first $5,000 a month goes directly to your pocket. You know, so I don't know. He said yes. And I think that's a good deal. When I was younger, if somebody offered the deal to me like that, I would say, oh, okay, I'll take it. I don't have to do it for 5 years, but I'll do it for the first year. And if you do a really good job, then you have $5,000. I mean, okay, probably more, but if assuming that, okay, if you do actually a really good job, you will make a lot more. If you do just the bare minimum to start makes $5,000 a month, then you get the $5,000. But that is kind of like, I'm telling him and I'm giving him an offer, and I say, hey, buddy, here's, you go do all the work, you get all the business up to a certain point, but there is a point, you know. And after that, obviously, because I made this investment, the thing is, you can go to other people and offer such a deal.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
you
maybe
can come
I can
to me
go
and offer such a deal. But I'm telling you, and the other part about it, you can go to them and like, hey, buddy, instead of 15%, give me 50%.
So you think learning the email course and the copywriting course is like a waste of time?
Okay, so here's the other part: are you sending emails right now to people to convert them?
I'm trying to do that with netbooks.
Okay. So if you are doing that for netbook, then but is that what we're doing?
Like basically, like you said, I got good at SEO to an extent. I don't really do link building. I hired link builders. Saeed's doing it. I have people handling the SEO. I have people handling the writing and designing. So my goal is to get people to opt into the email list and keep pushing office lists to people through email.
Okay, so that's not a bad idea. So if your think is that, hey, you know what, my answer to that question would be like, have you started writing emails?
I've started, yeah.
Okay,
not for netbooks though.
No, but why not for netbook?
Well, I've been doing it for like Chill Switch, Chaos, Liststorm. Like I've been writing emails.
You're saying now there's a need for netbook, right?
Yeah. Well, that's like new. Like we don't have any.
So the other emails you're sending out, what is the performance numbers? Do you have metrics for those?
Yeah. Like basically, Liststorm, all the campaigns that I made over November and December brought in 20% of their revenue from email marketing.
You wrote for who?
For Chaos Concealment Holsters.
Okay. So now I thought you're bringing more people into Liststorm. So if you are having that So and then you're not getting paid enough from chaos. But what about the
Right.
other ones? Like what about Chill Switch? Have you done emails for Chill Switch?
Yeah, but like we've made, I don't know, $300 so far. Probably spent like 1,500 on
No,
ads.
but no, but you're measuring the wrong thing, because you are only look at the emails right now.
Yeah.
What was your emails for chaos concealment that you're saying it was successful? Don't look at the end results. Look at all the other KPIs. Like what's the open rate? What is a good email?
Yeah, like 15 to 25% open rate with like
Okay, what was yours?
15 to 25.
But is that average or is that good?
That's good. Average is like 5 to 10%.
Okay, and what was the engagement, like click-through rate and stuff?
Pretty good. Anyway, usually on a bad email, it would be like 0.7%. On a good email, it would be upwards of 3 to 5%. And you
Is
can
that the
see,
very best you could do? Could you do it even better or no? Like were you constrained by time and things?
yeah, it was constrained by time, perhaps like a lack of experience. That like definitely could have done a better job, but I set it up in a way to A/B test every single email.
Okay, hold on a second. If you're saying you could have done a better job, are you are you writing emails today?
Not right now. I mean,
When was the last time you wrote emails?
yesterday, and I did it for Chill Switch, but like
Okay, what about the time before that?
Pretty much up until New Year's for chaos concealment.
So there's a gap, but because of the holidays and stuff too. So yes. So number one is that if that's so that's great. So yeah, I think you should focus on email marketing. We had a conversation a few times already. Okay. The way you get good at that is by writing more and more. Okay.
Yeah.
Up to the point that you're like, hey, you know what? So what I mean is this: if I wake you up at 3 a.m, you should think about how to write a better email.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And say you should do the course, you should study all that. Another factor that you need to consider is that, hey, you need to constantly keep sending, like here, emails. This kind of sounds funny, but you need to constantly find people that need to write converting emails, and then you need to help them out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if you come to me and you say, hey, you know what? I got these guys, and I say, hey, if I write emails for you guys and I'm going to do it for free, then they said no. I don't know. Probably there's something wrong with them. But if you want emails to write, because the thing is, you're trying to track right now is not the revenue, is as much that you try to write the open rate should be more important to you than the money in your bank. Do you know what I mean? If that is not the case, then maybe you're not the best email writer out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no shortage.
Doesn't mean you have to not get paid for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you shouldn't think about how much money I made yesterday. You should think about how much was the open rate for the email I sent yesterday.
I mean, I think another thing too is like I'm holding on to like the YouTube channel and the SEO theme. You know, like my YouTube channel is all about SEO for Shopify. So it's like now I've sort of been doing it for a year and I'm like interested in other things. So I think it's sort of like there's like a term, you're pot committed. Where like
that's so yeah, but
like that's what I'm saying is like
channel is not supposed to be you're not supposed to. That's actually the problem with the bigger creators, like creators. Like I was talking with one guy who's like actually has like 100,000 subscribers. I was telling him like people with like Graham Steven or like that the magician guy, like they're talking about stock market and stuff like that. It's so obvious to me this guy doesn't know anything, but at the same time I get it. He has to say something that his audience like. And does he know more than his audience? Probably, yeah. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, so it's not even who he is, but he is at the point that he cannot be who he is, because his job is to be what his audience want him to be. That's the life of a broadcaster. Okay. So number two, no, two things. Number one, I don't want to be that guy. Number two, your YouTube channel, buddy, is nowhere near that level.
Oh, I know, but I'm trying to grow it. I mean, I don't know if that's the best use of time.
No, I think what you need to grow for your YouTube channel is not your YouTube channel. YouTube channel should not tell you who you be. You should be whoever you are and put it on the YouTube channel. If people don't like it, screw them.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, unless you have like 1 million subscriber and then suddenly now you have to say things that people like you like it. You know what I mean? It's like that's
right. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess it's sort of like this thing too, where I'm like itching. Like I see so many successful people around me, like especially people who are younger and stuff, and I'm just like, damn, like why do I suck at everything? Like I need to get really good at something so I can do better.
Well, you can be really good at email marketing. I mean, that's what I mean. Is that what you want to do? I don't know. You have to ask yourself that, because again, that's very hard when you sometimes like want to be good at what, but you have to pick one and go deep in it. You know what I mean? And and doesn't mean that has to stay like that forever.
Yeah.
But there has to be something.
Yeah, I think there's more control, like personal control in email marketing than SEO. Because email marketing, I could wake up and write 10 emails and create, an entire series for somebody by myself. Whereas with SEO, it's like I have to hire a writer, I have to hire a link builder. Like there's so many facets of SEO that I don't like because I have to hire so many different people to do everything. Whereas email marketing, it's like so much more concentrated on you.
Okay. Yes. That being said, for SEO, the same thing. You can try to do all that. Like, have you ever done link building? I don't even know like, exactly how they do that. Yeah. So how do you even do link building?
It's like a lot of outreach. So like because I hired two for netbooks. So I'm learning about it, but the problem is like my SEO mentor back in the day was like completely against link building, so I completely neglected learning it. But I see that it's the number one way to build authority. It's the number one way to drive traffic. Like it's literally the most important part of SEO. So like, why haven't I done it? Because someone told me not to do it. So it's like, maybe I should focus on link building instead of email marketing.
Maybe that person followed link building and they're like, oh, well, this is so complicated. Or maybe, oh my God, I hate doing this.
Yeah.
But obviously it sounds like you kind of like it. I mean, I don't know, because it sounds like you have sent a lot of emails. Is that what you're supposed to do?
What?
For link building?
It's like a lot of outreach. I'm good at outreach.
What is outreach? That's like sending emails, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you, Sina, have a blog, right? And I call you, I'm like, hey, Sina, I have this article, I want to give you some content for your blog this week. Would you mind posting it and give a link back to my website? Like it's very much based on communication. If you have good communication skills, you can build good links. That's all it is.
Okay, so that's the thing. So then sounds like, I mean, I don't know. It's the first time I'm hearing this thing, but yeah, it sounds like this is what you need to do, and it sounds like you kind of like doing it anyway. Yeah. So just focus on that. That sounds great. And by the way, it sounds like email writing again. I mean, outreach.
Like it all goes together. Like what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to learn ads. I don't really want to do ads because I don't think that's the best use of my time. I'm not trying to do design.
I don't think ads is the best use of your time either, because like people who buy ads that are really good, and I know them, they're very analytical. Yeah. And you're not very analytical.
My forte was I did speech and debate in high school for 4 years. I got an A in communications. Yeah. Like I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at communication.
Okay. So yeah. So not running, not media buying.
Not media buying. Yeah. So that's the thing is like when I say, hey, I want to do a course on copywriting, I want to do a course on email marketing. It's not that I want to go down this different tangent where like, I'm doing all these abstract emails, but I want to learn those skills to tie it all back into what I'm doing, which at the end of the day, I really like SEO. I really like e-commerce, and I'm trying to sort of like harness all the skills that go into building successful e-commerce brands.
Okay, so here's two different things, because you're talking about two different things. So number one is building a successful e-commerce brand has a lot of different parts, okay? So do you want to be the person who kind of brings all these pieces together, or do you want to just be part of the whole journey of making a successful e-commerce brand? Because when you want to be the guy who brings all these pieces together, you cannot do that the first try. So you
Yeah.
got two options. Number one, you pay somebody a lot of money to kind of like, hey, teach me how to do this slash coaching, etc. Number two is you go, you're like, hey, buddy, you know what? I really, really want to learn emails, whatever outreach skills and link building
Mm-hmm.
and SEO. So anything that has to do with that, you give it to me and your e-commerce store, and when we partner up, we do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but e-commerce is a large term. What I think you should do is this, from what I hear, is you need to focus on one thing. And it sounds like whether it's called link building or SEO or outreach or email marketing,
Mm-hmm.
you sound like you have a skill of communicating. Okay. So try to work on that and try to practice it every day while also trying to learn more about it too. So like, yes, take the class and stuff like that and get more educated. But at the same time, don't stop doing it on an everyday basis because you're learning something.
Yeah.
So don't say, oh, like I took this course, it's going to take a week to send to finish. I'm going to finish the course and I'm going to get back to it. Don't work like that. Just keep doing it and take the course too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you cannot do both at the same time, then drop something
Yeah.
because you should be able to.
That's a good point. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that really answers my question and gives me a much better perspective on things. But obviously it's like I look at you, I look at Abdul, I look at Tom, Chance, all those guys, and it's like my mind is going there. But there's a lot of steps that need to be, crossed in order to get to that point. So
Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, I know like all of them, that's exactly how you get there. You get very focused on doing one thing first.
yeah.
So I mean, again, it's different for all of them. Like everybody, that one thing is different, but first you have to get good at one thing and you're really good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you find someone who's better at that, and then you go to the next thing. So at the beginning you kind of have to try everything.
Yeah. I think that's
But
where I'm at.
yeah, so you already kind of have a good, because right, so at the beginning is you kind of have to use what a military term, like the fog of war. You have to clear the fog of war. Okay. So you have to kind of like try to know, okay, what are the moving pieces here to an e-commerce store? Okay, you need good email marketing, you need good SEO, do you need good obviously you need good product, good
Yeah, good
content, you need
copy, good design,
good content, good photos, good design. Like, you know what you
videos.
yeah, you know the pieces. And that probably takes you, I don't know, a year to figure out, maybe less,
Yeah.
depending how you do.
About a
Okay.
year.
And so that you can either learn that by doing it, different things, to know what are the pieces you need, or you can kind of like observe other people doing it. So if you're less of a risk taker, so it sounds like you are. Okay. Number two is then you gotta start trying these things. So then you try, I don't know, like you try one, and then you have to kind of make sure you're not losing sight of the other one if you're a business owner. But you are in a position right now, because you're not a full owner, you can try different things. You don't have to manage all at the same time. You have other people to help you. But then when you're doing this, you have to figure out what you're really good at, and then focus on that. For everything else, hire people.
Yeah.
you know
Hmm. Yeah. No, it's a good point.
from what I hear right now, you are now at least giving email marketing and email writing a good shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So get good at that to the point that you bring in, because there are good email marketers out there who are making a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you can be good at that. Like I know, for especially like Amazon and e-commerce and stuff like that, one of the skills is finding great products. Okay. And that's usually one of the most important skills.
Mm-hmm.
But even somebody who has successful e-commerce store, I know at least 2 people who like selling 7 figures. Even they are right now, they're not out there finding products for their next store. They have people finding products for them because they either focus on different things, or maybe they found someone who was even better at them at finding products. Okay. And the people who find the products, they come bring it to them, they give their opinion. But at some point you have to make a decision, is this guy better than me? So there's like a training involved. And at some point when you find someone better than me, then you kind of just don't even ask him. That's one of the things for Titania. That's what I love there, because there was like a very application we had to fill out. And it was like, I don't know, it was over my head. So I sent her the link and I was like, hey, can you fill out this application? Like, this is like just a very basic info and 3 bullet points. And she wrote the whole thing and she was having problems submitting it. I was like, really? So it's
that's the easy part.
Yeah, her writing was so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is great. This is like a really good, this is a very great application. And she's like, yeah, I can't submit it. And I was like, oh, did you can't? And then I emailed the support and I was like, hey, like, is there anything? And I told her I was like, hey, email the support. And the support emailed back, blah, blah, but she went back and forth. So she didn't know she should email the support. So that's the kind of like the thing I told her. So that's the thing. I'm good at kind of that kind of problem solving. You know what I mean? The application doesn't go through. What should we do? Is the deadline passed? Has the deadline passed? Email the support, see if they can accept it after the deadline.
Yeah.
So like I kind of guided her through that, and then she actually submitted and everything's works. I don't know. So it was great. But
you want me to
so
tell
from
you,
now on, huh?
Yeah. Oh no, keep going.
So from now on, if there is any kind of external communication with the support or like this application kind of things I want to do, I go to Titania.
Yeah.
She's great.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was going to say a fun fact about Tatiana. When I made the original posting for hiring a writer, I got over 50 responses back. She was the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The very first one?
Yeah, and I ended up hiring her.
I did not know that.
And it wasn't even like, oh, she's the first one. It was literally like I was looking at like 30 and I was like, damn, like the first one's really good. So just went with that one and it worked out well. I still have a list of like, I don't know, I probably got like 3 or 4 more Tatiana grade writers like sitting in a list somewhere.
Yeah. But again, we don't want the very best writer in the world. We want somebody who is best and has the right attitude too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know, but
people,
what I mean is like
people like Tatiana.
I would much rather work with someone like her rather than somebody who is even a better writer than her, but she asked 20 questions before submitting the application.
Remember Barry? I mean? Where did Barry go?
Yeah, I don't know.
I miss that guy. Sick. He was a good writer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like for example, if I start doing SEO on NetBooks and I'm doing a good job and I tell Saeed
okay, but that comes back to the thing. What is SEO? Is like, is a multiple things, right?
Yeah. So like, I don't know if you saw this. Let me show you this. This is something I made and I was going to do a YouTube video with like a free resource, but it's the ultimate e-commerce Shopify SEO checklist for 2021. And it goes over the SEO essentials, technical SEO, keyword research, on page and off page. This is SEO front to back. So every single one of these points can be a video, you know, like if I were to make some sort of SEO course. But this is what SEO is. And, you know, I wanted to make a YouTube video. I wanted to get people to opt into my email list. And then when they opt in, they get this. And then I can keep emailing them, even though I don't really have anything to sell them. But yeah, that's SEO right there.
Okay, so from all these things that needs to be done, like for one project, how many of them you can do? Because that's the thing, is like, Is this a skill set that you find with one person, or is it a skill set that multiple people are there involved?
Multiple people. Like technical
Oh, okay.
SEO is a beast in itself. Keyword research and on-page SEO, one person can do both of those. But
Okay,
like,
so I give you an example. Okay, if somebody comes in and asks what Elon Musk does,
yeah,
what does Elon Musk do?
he manages. I mean,
No,
he's
no,
like,
no. Like, but like, yeah, but at the same time, you're like, hey, this guy make cars. You know what I mean? He owns a car
yeah,
company. But do you really think he knows shit about making cars?
no.
Do you really think he knows? I mean, I know he knows a lot, but
Does he
he
know
has people.
the best rubber to use on the tires?
Exactly. So he knows people who I'm sure he knows the difference between a complete. I mean, I hope he does, but a complete like I don't know. I don't even know what car rubbers are made of. But like, let's say if it's a steel and the body, the difference between an aluminum chassis and a steel chassis. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like just basic things, which I don't know the difference exactly other than weight. But like what kind of exactly steel we use, because when you go
right.
to picking the steel, I mean, if you're not an engineer, you may not know this, but there is not such thing as steel when you try to buy it. They're like, is it 1080? Is it 1060? Do you want this much carbon in this? It gets technical. You know what I mean? So when you're at Elon Musk level, you don't know any of that. He just knows this is better than that. Hold back. You're not Elon Musk. Go back to where he was working in PayPal. You know, whatever the hell he was doing back there, he knew exactly what kind of steel he needs to use. He was like, I think like a software developer or something. But slowly, he realizes, hey, there are other parts of the things that I need to kind of like handle,
Yeah,
you know? So where I'm going with this is you need to figure one thing, you need to be part of the project that needs all this, and then you need to pick one. But then for the other ones, you either need to find people who are better than you, or those other people has to already be in place,
mm,
you know?
yeah. See, that's the
So
thing is like like for the off-page SEO, like you were saying, focus on link building. It's like I just hired a really good link builder for Netbook, so it's like why even do it myself if I could just pay her 2,000 to.
no, but at the same time, so here's the thing that no, you're doing the exact right thing, because look at it this way, because the project we're doing, you're taking, so we're not a company that's looking for employees, you know what I mean? I'm not looking
Right.
for somebody that I hire them and for the past next 20 years
Yeah.
they're gonna be. When I was working in like mechanical engineering consulting, I would sometimes go to a site, like a site is like a plant,
Hmm.
and then I see some guy who's like designs like a distillation columns. You know what I mean? I just like they design something like this technical, like it's a complex structure in a refinery. It's like a vessel.
Yeah.
It's not, like it is design airplane wings. Okay, something like that. Design airplane wings, and you would like, oh, okay, like, and the guy was retiring, you know. And I was like, how long he's been here? I was like, oh, he's been here like 25 years. And I was like, how did he start here? He's like, oh, he's 25 years. He started as like in the example of like the airplane wing designer, but not the entire wing, just the fin at the end,
Hmm.
you know. And then slowly became the wing designer, you know. That guy can't build a fucking airplane. He's a wing designer, but he's been there for 20, 40 years. You know what? Great guy, amazing career. I'm sure he made a lot of money. That's not the kind of guy we're looking for.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the project we're working on is that we're not a consulting company looking for specific thing to be solved. I want the whole thing to be solved. So
Mm.
when Abdul comes to you or I come to you and I'm like, hey, we want this website to have a good SEO, I don't want to hear the word SEO anymore. I don't want to hear you coming back to me and saying, hey, I need do the keyword research, technical SEO. I need to learn all this. You know, I just want you to do the very best version of SEO to do. So you're doing research because of the SEO. And then you realize, okay, guess what? I thought this is just going to be me writing some articles. And then I realized there's this whole thing called link building. There's this other kind of things. And I am hiring all these guys or getting help in order to do this because you cannot do this all by yourself. You need 5, 6 people,
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, okay, Roy, great. Do we have a great SEO now?
Yeah. Like, is the problem solved? Yes or no?
Exactly. Is the problem solved or not?
Yeah.
I don't care how many people you need to hire.
Yeah.
Just do it. But at the same time, obviously, you need to have your own sense of common sense to go out there. And if you see somebody who's charging 20 grand to do a 5-minute job, you're like, oh, buddy, I'm not an idiot. This is way too much.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to have that sense. And the way you can get that sense is when you're vested into the project.
Yeah.
And if I come back to you and I was like, hey, buddy, how come you spend 10 grand and you haven't done a good SEO? You can come back to me like, hey, do you want a good SEO or not? Because I had to look at all this and I have to spend 10 grand.
Yeah.
That's like, what it took.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Guess what? You ask me when you hire somebody, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, this guy's pretty good. He's going to charge $20 an hour. Okay, this guy's pretty good. He's going to charge $4 grand,
Yeah.
And I'm like, is he really good? Yes. Okay. Do it.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the point. You are building something like right now in this specific case, you're building an SEO problem solving machine.
Yeah.
And it includes different parts. Some of those parts you think are so strategic and so important that you're the only one who needs to do it. Like, I don't know, is email marketing or email sending part of the SEO?
I like to think so, but a lot of people don't.
Okay. So you're like, hey, for this portion of it, I cannot find someone better than me because it's so complicated.
Yeah.
I need to have, like, I hear people saying they can do it, but I think they're full of shit. So I go deeper in that. And then I realize, hey, maybe, for example, for email marketing is a good example of this. You think it's part of the SEO. You need to include it. There's something you need to do. And by the way, SEO to me, it includes everything. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not just the ranking. It's basically getting traffic that is not directly paid.
Yeah. And like getting them to opt in.
Exactly. I don't give a shit if they come from emails or if they come from like Google ranking or like, as long as I'm not paying for the traffic directly.
Yeah.
And email marketing, you're kind of not paying for it. It's kind of like free. I mean, it's not free, but whatever. The cost is fixed. It's not per user,
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think email marketing is part of SEO, because you get that person in to the website, right? Now that's the first step. Then you got to get them to opt in, and then you nurture them through email. So it's like, it's not the front end of SEO, but it's like the back end, like nurturing that customer. And I guess it's the same thing if you bring that traffic in through paid ads too, but it's just part of
the difference for pay. Yeah. But the difference for pay ad is that, so pay ads, you pay per user. Okay. So it's different because when you're doing SEO, you are paying, but you're not paying per user. You're paying for something that will bring people in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you kind of like, so the way I'm looking at it is paid ads. It's more like trading, you're trading dollar by dollar. SEO is more like investing, so it's kind of like investing in a company or whatever, an idea in like a year or two. So it's not like you're day trading, that's the way I'm looking at it. So that's why to me, email marketing is part of the SEO, because you're also not, it's kind of like you're kind of building an audience. You like some of the emails you send out doesn't have any sales in them. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
Like every email should not be a buy. It should be like, hey, buy. And then I think like they said 3 value email and an ask email, something like that.
Well, there's different philosophies on this, and I've been listening to a podcast by Ben Settle. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's an email copywriter, but his golden rule is to like, you should always have some sort of call to action in an email. You should never just be sending out an email with no call to action. And most of the time that call to action is to go buy something. Okay.
So I'm not, so, okay. I let me ask you this way, but so I hear, so you're saying at the end, so you would be still a value email and then ask. So, okay. So he's saying that, okay. So my part is not about, you should not ask. My part is you should always provide value.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what
You
I mean?
always lead with some value. And at the end, you could do some sort of like smooth plug for a call to action. So like
Yeah, exactly.
for
So
netbooks, it would be like, let's say I make 30 emails in 30 days. Each one of those emails talks a little bit about, how to make money online. You're getting some value there. But at the end, it's like, hey, go check out Officeless Agency,
okay, so here's the thing. So exactly. So when you're doing that, there are a lot of parts. Like so there is a lot of so what I want to say is that it is to me part of the SEO. That's part of the conversation. If it's like the SEO or not, is because you are not paying. You are not. Doesn't matter if you send an email to 100,000 people or 10 people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just blasting emails out.
Yeah.
But when you're doing paid ads, you're not. You kind of like. You try to bring the guy to your ecosystem of some sort. But in the SEO, you are, in the email marketing, what I want to say is the
Nurturing them. Is that the word?
yeah. So you are providing value enough for them to see you,
Right.
or they notice you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's to me, it's part of SEO. When I say SEO, means anything but paid ads.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I mean. Okay. So that's what I mean. So this is what I mean, because I'm looking at it from a company owner from budgets. Okay. There are budgets that are fixed costs and there are budgets that are variable costs. This is what I mean. This is the big difference to me. Variable costs and fixed costs. Okay. Email marketing to me is a fixed cost. Is not that, hey, I'm paying $5,000 a month and I'm getting X amount of sales. Next month, I'm going to pay $10,000 a month and I'm going to get double the sale. If you pay $10,000 next month, you're going to get paid the same exact number, because the cost of the email marketing is not variable to the number of users you can reach.
Right.
Unless when you say email marketing, that actually includes, I don't know, like buying lists and stuff. I don't know. That's not email marketing, is it?
No, it's like buying lists.
Okay, yeah. So exactly. So SEO, paid ads to me is like buying lists.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that is not buying lists to me is SEO.
Yeah.
Anything. That's what I mean.
I agree.
That's how I define it. Okay.
Yeah. And so like for me over the last year, maybe I didn't do link building, which I'm going to start sort of like doing that since it's tied into email. But in the last year, I saw all the things of SEO, like the essentials, technical SEO, keyword research, on page, off page. And I was like, okay, all this is great. You get a shit ton of people to the website, but then what? They all leave, right? So my whole thing is like, I don't want them to leave and go away forever. I want to get their email and I want to stay in touch with them. And that's how I nurture them into a sale. So that's completing the SEO process.
Exactly.
That's why I've been getting into
perspective.
emails.
Same thing. It's like it's not part of the paid media anymore. It's part of the SEO.
Yeah.
Okay? So back to the conversation I was going with. This is where you need to focus. If right now you're focusing on that specific thing, email marketing, because you think it's part of the whole bigger picture, the SEO, and then you realize, hey, SEO, this Said is better than me at whatever, like clearing up content. I think that he's pretty good at. I don't know. Technical. Yeah. Technical. Okay, exactly. Technical SEO. I don't know. John is better than me in keyword research. On-page SEO is this guy, is this girl, Tatiana. What's her name?
Tatiana.
Tatiana is better at like writing content and stuff like that. And then off-page SEO.
Yeah, I just hired this girl. I just hired this girl, Angeline, and we actually have 2 people doing off-page SEO right now.
Okay, so that's kind of link building?
Yeah.
So yeah. And then you're like, hey, there is a new section at the bottom I discovered. It's called email marketing, which is not SEO, which is not paid marketing, which is not media buying, but I think it's important. And right now I can't find anyone to do it because I exactly don't know what the hell it is. So I have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go do that. And here's the thing. So I actually almost can guarantee you this is going to happen. Is like when you do that, then you realize, oh, holy shit, setting up these lists and links and stuff in active campaign, and like these kind of like automatic workflows, and then list building, and then if your list gets more than a certain number, then you have to pay per, like it's like you have to
Yeah.
pay more. It's not, you don't pay pairs ever, I think. Yeah,
You
I don't think you will
pay
be
for
ever
your
pay.
contact list.
Yeah, but like it's not like you have 5,000, you pay this, you have 6,000, like you
Oh
have
yeah, yeah.
5,000,
It's like a
500.
range.
Usually you buy like chunks,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you're like, hey, I'm looking at my emails, and then I'm paying for all these guys, but a lot of them are not even opening my emails. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, how can I clear those out so I don't pay for this kind of thing? So it can't become technical email marketing, if there's such a thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
then at the same time, somebody has to write all that content,
Mhm.
So you're like, okay, you know what? This whole email marketing SEO that I thought part of the SEO in itself, I need 2-3 people to manage that.
Yeah.
And my answer would be, you know what? Great. Is the SEO problem solved?
Well, yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
Hire somebody and take care of it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But see,
I don't
even
need
then, when you get into the technical email marketing, there's still the most valuable skill in there is writing those emails.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's like a design in it too, because that's another thing. Is like, if you're sending an email out, and like especially like something like a newsletter or something, like well laid out, there is like the photos or graphics, or like they put like GIF in it, GIF, whatever you call it, and how you order it,
Right.
like, is it going to lead with that? The design, the colors, and like maybe one
Oh
wicked
yeah.
blue, one wicked red.
Yeah.
So that's a completely different skill set than writing it. And then tomorrow you come to me, you're like, hey, Sina, I hired this other girl for my SEO email marketing team, and her job is to design the email is going to be out. And I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? Great. Is the SEO problem solved or not? Because I don't want to hear about all this detail.
Yeah.
So you kind of digging deep and finding people who are better than you at doing this, but you don't even know what skill set you're looking for until you actually start doing it.
Yeah.
So in my perspective, from looking back to where you need to focus, my thing for you is to focus on SEO, and as you keep discovering this thing and going deeper, and that's conversation I think we had, like, you're like, hey, I want to get better at SEO. I'm like, oh yeah, try to like SEO this side,
Yeah.
So focus on that, and then you come back to me. You're like, hey, we need these things. It's great. Okay, just focus on that. Then you keep getting better at SEO, but then you're realizing SEO has a lot more part in it.
Yeah. And like, as you dig into each aspect of it, you just hire someone and you move on to the next thing.
Yes, exactly. Same thing. If you want to build a website or whatever, that's like we had that iGive thing, like that kind of project. Just keep going at it.
So who do you plan on like having handle like Kathleen's project for SEO?
That's actually a good question, because it would be a combination of you and Saeed, but like I need to know what skill sets we need for it. Like, is it just one person job?
No, but like I'm telling you, the same team that I hired for NetBooks, we can hire for Kathleen's.
Okay,
like,
let's do that. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, like, we'll get it handled.
Yeah.
Believe me, like,
part of that team.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, look, everything here, I've studied, I've learned it. I can do all of this if it came down to it. But like I told you, my problem with chaos was, one, the incentive isn't there for me to go out and hire these people, nor do it myself. But like for Kathleen's project and NetBooks, oh hell yeah, I can hire people all day long. I know who to hire. I know the prices to pay. Like, I'm good at that part.
Yeah, so then do that. It's great. Awesome. And if one of these websites starts making money, guess what? You're going to make money too.
Yeah.
And then the second one come in and I'm like, hey, Roy, can you make this website SEO better? And you're going to be like, hey, Sina, you know what? Why don't you pay me more? Because you saw how much money you made with the first one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. Let's pay you more. But I'm not going to pay you more money. I'm going to pay you as a percentage of the profit for this project.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that solves question number 1. I
Yeah,
guess
we gotta
we're
go. I'm getting hungry too.
we're out of time here for 2 and
Okay,
3.
it's actually a great question. How to, nobody's watching anyway. How to value a YouTube channel? That's a very good one. Let's take
Hey,
that.
we had
I have
14
no
people
freaking
watching tonight.
really. I
Yeah.
have no idea how to value a YouTube channel. If you know how to, so look it up. I don't know. I that's actually one of the things because we need to know because we may actually buy a YouTube channel if as part of the SEO, which I think it is.
Okay.
You know.
So let's save this for next week then.
Yeah. Actually, we talked about the third one.
Yeah, we did the Rev profit share deals. So
how to value a YouTube channel? I have no idea, but we need to know. We need to know this really fast.
Okay. All right. So that'll be next week's episode. So
and also look into like I know how to value e-com channel,
okay,
e-com store really well. You know how? Because we paid 10 grand for this website.
Which one?
Empire Flippers.
Yeah.
That people put their online businesses there to sell.
Wait, you gave Empire Flippers 10K?
It's not a paid, it's kind of like a deposit, but yeah.
And what do they do in exchange?
Basically, we send them 10K and we're never planning on getting it back. But
what do they do for you? Broker deals?
Oh, you get extra perks of knowing exactly the website, knowing
all the data,
the details of the deal. You call the owner and that sort of stuff.
And that data is valuable to you because you know what you're looking at.
And no, that data was valuable, very valuable to me because I know now the difference between a good deal and a bad deal when it comes to buying a website.
I see.
So how to value a YouTube channel? I don't know if this thing exists, but if it's not, maybe we should even make one.
Yeah, marketplace.
It's a really big problem right now.
Yeah.
If you don't know if there is no Empire Flippers for YouTube channels, we need one. We need one because we need to figure out how to value YouTube channels. We have a problem. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So if there is need one, we need to make one ourselves. I don't know how to make it, but come to me, we talk about it. I don't know. We have to hire somebody probably to go make a Slack group and add all these guys to it.
Yeah.
Go spam all the YouTubers. Do you want to sell your channel? Here is a Slack group. Go join.
Yeah.
And over there, we can slowly start setting up a marketplace, trying to figure out what the value is. But anyway, I don't want to solve that problem. I really, really, really hope there's a website out there that tells you, sell your YouTube channel, contact us.
Let's see.
Or sign up here. Yeah, look it up.
YouTube channels for sale, fameswap.com.
Thank God. Yeah. So there you go. So then contact. So now you got a problem. How much is this? I don't know. You see the prices are locked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So find another website. See if you can find other website. Yeah. So you see there's more than one. This one is a forum actually. So this one seems to be open.
Yeah, I'll do some digging into this and we can go over this next week.
Go do digging. And the point is go up to the first one. So the first one does. So this is another one. Oh, this one has a price. $800 for 5,000 subscribers. What? It can't be right.
Yeah, but it's also making $0. So who knows? These 591,000 subscribers could be completely fake.
Okay.
Oh, but it did get watch time minutes back in 2018, 2019.
That's 2022. What is this thing?
I don't know.
What's the channel is about? Oh, you can't even click on his channel. What do you mean? Just click there. Anyway, we got to wrap this up because I got to go.
Yeah. We'll save this for next week. But
here's the thing. Here is the problem here right now.
No videos.
You need to figure out how to price YouTube channels. But most importantly, number 2, you need to understand how those pricings are set. Okay. Like online businesses, I know if how to value online businesses. I tell you, it's 3 times EBITDA.
Yeah. 3 times or
3 times.
3 times what?
EBITDA. You remember at the beginning?
Oh yeah.
Bring it down. Going full circle, bringing it all back. How I started EBITDA.
Yeah. We're ending with it as well.
3 times EBITDA. But then how do they get to that valuation compared to the other businesses? I told you, it's about age of the business. It's about how stable the industry is. It's about age of the business. I mean, the website.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables that are taken into account.
where
to
their
find the
audience
variables.
are, where's that market going. So there's like a little bit of a thinking behind it. And right now I know how to value
This e-com stores.
online e-commerce stores better than empire flippers.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's why I'm there to buy.
we need to
Because
figure
I
out
think
the
I'm smarter than
equation.
empire flippers.
You're beating the market of empire flippers.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't bought any. That's why I haven't bought anything.
But check this out. If we do a good job with Kathleen, if we do a good job with NetBooks and anything else that we're SEOing, Hustle Club, whatever, that's just even more confidence that you can go buy one of these businesses from Empire Flippers. We SEO it.
Yes.
Boom.
Exactly. And actually I found one. It's funny because this is the very first time I found an empire flipper business, because I talked with the 3 or 4 of them, you know,
Like the owners.
More. Huh?
The owners of Empire.
I talked to at least 5 owners, like different things. But the listings that I've seen are in, I don't know, probably like thousands. The listings that I've opened and like looked and did a brief analysis are in the minimum hundreds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not like I'm an expert in it. The numbers of deals I actually closed and I even like seriously considered buying it, 0, because all of them I think have been valued really well, actually have been overvalued.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I haven't found anything that I'm like, oh, okay, you know, this is a great deal. I think I know more than the empire flippers and I know more than the owner of the business. I haven't found anything.
Damn.
There's one that maybe comes up. There is one that maybe comes up actually, unless there's literally just, that's what I mean. There's until 2-3 days ago.
Ooh.
So there,
sneak peek for next week.
That I think this has true potentials.
Okay. Can we look at it next week?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna save it.
For sure. We actually have to look at it. And actually, I almost sent it to you.
Okay.
So that's the one. And if it passes all my tests, I talk to the owner, etc., etc. Then I'll talk to Abdul, maybe a bank or something. I'm like, hey, there is a business here. We need to buy this. We need to buy it one way or the other.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So that's it for today. Solid episode. Better than episode 5. Episode 5 was 5. I don't know. It was like, I think I just got back from like California. It was horrible. We're getting back in the flow of things. So anyways, if anybody has any questions, wants to see anything, our Facebook links are down there. I'll put them in the description.